nice high IQ. They like that, We like high IQ people. But they know I make good decisions. That's why we have that. Trump was right about everything, right?
Nope, wrong hat, my friend. Meanwhile, it's another day, another meltdown from the high IQ president. I mean, I'll tell you something. I truly miss the times when we didn't have to worry about what our president would be posting on social media in the middle of the night. And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So look, hit subscribe, watch, comment, keep those comments coming, and most importantly, share with your friends. Now, Trump had some troubling posts this morning, and I want to start off with the job numbers. Since it's the beginning of the month, we're waiting to see the data from the job reports. And before I show you what Trump posted, let me show you a clip of Maria Bartiromo this morning, realizing that the job numbers are actually going the wrong way. They're going down. Play the clip.
Of course, President Trump is talking about this bill leading to growth in the economy. We are waiting any moment now to get the jobs numbers for the month of May. The expectations call for the ADP numbers to be up 95,000 for the month of June, rather. It's the June jobs data, and we'll, of course, right now seeing the number actually show a decline in jobs, down 33,000 on ADP.
Yeah. Someone's wrong, right? Meanwhile, Trump posted on Truth Social, literally raving about the growth of our economy. Let me show you what he wrote. In it, he says, nobody wants to talk about growth, which will be the primary reason that the big, beautiful bill will be one of the most successful pieces of legislation ever passed. This growth has already begun at levels never seen before. Trillions of dollars are now being invested into the United States of America, more than ever before. Likewise, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs are filling up the coffers of Treasury. The tariff money has already arrived and is setting new records. We are growing our way out of the sleepy Joe Biden mess that he and the Democrats left us, and it is happening much faster than anyone thought possible. Our country will make a fortune this year, more than any of our competitors, but only if the big, beautiful bill is passed. As they say, Trump's been right about everything, and this is the easiest of them all to predict. Republicans, don't let the radical left Democrats push you around. We've got all the cards, and we are going to use them. Last year, America was a dead nation with no hope for the future, and now it's the hottest nation in the world. Make America great again. Now, let me be very clear. You've heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. And I've told you about that Stalin quote where it says, doesn't really matter who you vote for. All that matters is who's counting the vote. Well, Trump suggested that he's going to save New York City from communism. Let me show you what he said. In it, he writes, as president of the United States, I'm not going to let this communist lunatic destroy New York. Rest assured, I hold all the levers and have all the cards. I'll save New York City and make it hot and great again, just like I did with the good old US of A. I am so confused by this post. I'm so confused what he's truly trying to say. I am so confused by the enablers that are around him, that are allowing these things to go out. Many of them aren't coming from Trump, by the way. I know, I've been in the room, I've been at the table, I've seen it, where people just say, hey, this would be a great post, and that he'll make a change or two onto it and then put it out. This is not good for him. This is not good for this country. Meanwhile, CNN's Abby Phillips, who of course Trump posted about last week, we talked about that, put together a graphic showing everyone that Trump has gone after in just the last 72 hours. Play the clip.
The president's insult parade is crowded tonight, attacking anyone who dares to speak out against him or his policies. Here's some of the names that he's targeted in just the last 48 to 72 hours. Tom Tillis, Tom Massey, Japan, Canada, Jerome Powell, Harvard, former DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. And then, of course, we cannot forget Elon Musk, who's been...
Yeah, and you too. Meanwhile, now the last Trump post that I want to show you is from after his trip yesterday to Alligator Alcatraz. Let me show you this post. In it, he writes, Because of the violence and criminality I have seen due to the open border policy of sleepy Joe Biden, in particular allowing millions of people into our country who shouldn't be here, I wanted something representative to show how we fight back. And then it happened. I saw a picture of Alcatraz looking so foreboding, and I said, we're going to look into renovating and rebuilding the famous Alcatraz prison sitting high on the bay, surrounded by sharks. What a symbol it is and will be. Conceptual work started 6 months ago, and various prison development firms are looking at doing it with us. Still a little early, but lots of promise. Lots of promise for what? More brutality, more cruelty? Again, Mr. President, what are you doing? This is so outside of the scope of anything I saw during my decade and a half sitting by your side. Okay, by the way, I'm all for closing a border. I truly do believe that every country has the right to protect its borders, that a country without borders, quite frankly, isn't a country. I agree with that. But I cannot agree with the brutality and the methodology to which this administration, your enablers, are convincing you to do. This is just not American. So while in Florida visiting this new detention facility, he held an immigration roundtable and then he spoke with reporters. Of course, as expected, he didn't even really focus much on immigration, but rather he used the airtime to attack people and to continue to spread misinformation. For example, he spoke about Eric Adams, and he said that the indictment against Eric Adams was phony. It was fake. And that's why he got involved. Play the clip.
Long time since a Republican won the city, but you would think that a Republican would be able to win. Or you have a good independent running, Mayor Adams, who's a very good person. I helped him out a little bit. He had a problem, and he was unfairly hurt over this question. He made a statement to the effect that this is terrible. New York City can't have all these immigrants come in. And like he was indicted the following day. And I said, that was a phony indictment. And it was a phony indictment. That was a Biden indictment. I said, don't feel bad. I got indicted 5 times every time you opened your mouth. That was a bad group. That was a very dangerous group, I will tell you. These were not nice people. That was the only thing they could do. They had no policy. They had no skill. They had no anything. But they were very good at that. They were vicious, vicious, horrible people.
I'm sort of kind of confused a little bit because Biden being a Democrat and Mayor Eric Adams being a Democrat, I just find it odd that there was this tension between the two, a tension that, I don't know, as a lifelong New Yorker, I just wasn't aware about. And I really do try to stay abreast of the news, right? Now, like in that Truth Social post that I showed you earlier, Trump then goes on and he actually threatens Zohran Mamdani. Play that clip.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. We're going to be watching that very carefully. And a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. We're going to look at everything. And ideally, he's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you got a lot of them like that.
Again, I don't know anything about Mamdani, to be very honest with you. I know he's made wildly inappropriate, stupid, anti-Semitic statements. This I know. I also don't like his policies regarding multifamily properties and taxes. And so I just don't like them. And I like the fact that, he thinks giving things away is going to make New York City rebound. It is not. He's going to, yes, destroy it. But is he a socialist? Is he a communist? I'll be honest with you. I don't know anything about the guy. I didn't vote for him, but to lock him up and to start putting a third. Remember something. Trump is telegraphing what he intends to do, very much like what he said the other day about Elon Musk. He is not letting this go. So when he says that they'll lock up mayoral candidate Mamdani, if in fact that he becomes mayor and that he interferes with ICE, I promise you, we will see him with handcuffs. And on Air Force One, Trump spoke about, Tom Tillis, and that he would love for Lara Trump, Eric's wife, to replace him as senator. Play that clip.
I think the Senate was a very big move, and they worked very hard. I didn't get along with Tillis, and he resigned. That's good. That's a good thing.
Run for that seat, sir.
Well, somebody that would really be great is Laura. She grew up there, but they live in Florida. They have a very good life, and they're great people. She did fantastically running the RNC. She's even got a show that's like the #1 show, and Mark Levin is likewise. I mean, they have the #1, #2 show over the weekend. So she's done well. She's a great person, Laura Trump. I mean, that would always be my first choice, but she doesn't live there now. But she's there all the time. Her parents are there. She really knows North Carolina well, and I won it 3 times.
By the way, it's Lara. Anyway, staying on theme of elected officials that he doesn't like, Trump spoke about Thomas Massie, and he claimed that a poll showed that anyone who runs against Massie would win, so long, of course, that Trump endorses them. Play that clip.
Get his voting record, so is against. Well, he's going to have an opponent. He's going to have a big opponent, a good opponent, who's going to win. A poll just came out, and it showed anybody I endorse against Massie loses by 25 points. So he's going to be history, I think.
Okay. Meanwhile, going back to the big, beautiful bill, Trump clearly doesn't understand even his own bill when he's questioned on the cuts to Medicaid. There's a real problem. And I really wish that somebody, and not one of the enablers that is sitting there, but somebody would sit and explain to him what too many people in America are right now afraid of. Play that clip.
And just to be clear on the Medicaid cuts, you've promised not to cut Medicaid, said this is all just targeting waste, fraud, and abuse. Are you saying that the estimated 11.8 million people who could lose their health coverage, that is all waste, fraud, and abuse?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be a very much smaller number than that, and that number will be waste, fraud, and abuse. And if you look, they took a much more liberal stance on the Medicaid situation than they could have. They had a tough stance and a weak stance. They took not a very strong stance on that to start off, and it's waste, fraud, and abuse, and everybody wants that covered.
What number is that? What analysis are you seeing?
I'm not seeing a number, but I know it's much less than the number you gave, and we really were very, very cognizant of 3 things. Social Security, we're going to take care of it beautifully. Medicare and Medicaid. And we are going to save it, whereas the Democrats are going to, you won't have it. They will destroy Medicare and Medicaid, and they have to because their numbers don't work. So it's not going to happen. They're the ones that have destroyed Medicare. They have made it so bad already, they're going to make it a lot worse. But now we'll be in charge, so we're going to have no problem with Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security. Thank you.
At the end of the day, show us the facts. That's all that we're asking. Maybe you're right. Mr. President, maybe you are 100% right. And I would be the first one to say, well, I was wrong. Trump was right again, just as his hat said. Or maybe it's not. Maybe we're the ones that are right. And those people that are feeding you this bullshit, maybe they're the ones that are wrong. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.